Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So I'm going to tell you about this story. It's actually about a murder. So if that's a trigger for you, you're welcome to watch a different video that I share. So this one is a story. It's of a murder of Josh, Sarah, and Rachel. So Sarah and Rachel are dating Josh, and he was trying to keep it a secret. One of them had their own apartment. The other one was from a good home. As far as they were rural, she had a curfew. She still lived at home, was in high school, and these girls went to high school together. So they knew each other. Now, what happened is they started fighting with each other. And so Sarah was taunting Rachel. She was giving her a hard time. And so they're in the reactive abuse, Sarah's coming back with you're fat, things like that. So they're both kind of escalating this situation. And what is triangulation? It's when they utilize a third party. So Josh is feeding off of it. And he doesn't even care. So listen to the end and you'll just see like he just saw him as friends with benefits. And these girls fight to the death over him. So he's getting supply, and they had even stated in the like the news report that the police are saying there's no criminal charges they can bring on Josh. So these girls are going through a lot of stress. They're fighting over a guy who really doesn't even care about them. So it escalates and turns into Sarah going after Rachel and punching Rachel, like coming at her. I think she threw 3 punches, and Rachel had grabbed a knife because these girls were going into the restaurant where Rachel had worked. There was the flying monkeys that were being utilized. So Sarah's friends are taunting Rachel, giving her a hard time while she's at work, following her home. They sprayed her with silly string, which is kind of like childhood mentality. Like, oh, I'm a badass, I'm gonna spray you with silly string. Like, but it escalates. Like, that's still irritating. It's still scary being chased, even if all it was silly string. So Sarah's kind of freaking out a little bit. She doesn't, they're posting on social media. So they're watching each other because they know that they're both dating this guy, and it's instigating them. So social media can lead to our mind overthinking or more hurt feelings, which escalate things. They say your thoughts become your actions, and being taunted and all that stuff and chased after. So Rachel has a knife in her car. Sarah comes, throws those 3 punches. Rachel had grabbed that knife. And in her interrogation, she's stating that, I didn't mean to do this, and that's not what I wanted. I was just defending myself. And so they were talking about, is this self-defense? And they're saying it wasn't self-defense because she brought a weapon to this fight. Sometimes too, you don't know what the other person has. I told you about my neighbor across the street. I can't remember the title of the video that I did, murder across my street or something like that. But at the time he went to jail, they didn't have self-defense for, it had to be equal or lesser force. So if they both had a knife, it would have been equal. But she brought something higher than her attacker had. And that's the thing, that's you don't know what somebody has. So she was preparing, but in the interrogation, she's protecting herself. She's saying, I didn't mean for it to happen. We got to be careful. We're going to go a little bit into this. We go to the intent and what people are thinking in the moment. Did she black out? Because she says that she blacked out in a sense, not her exact words, but she blacked out, thought she forgot she had something in her hand. Is she lying? Is she confabulating? I just did a video on confabulation, filling in the blanks, but she's stating this. And is she really meaning it? Is it confabulation? Is it the truth? Is it a lie? Is it because of the blackout? So she stabbed Sarah twice. And Sarah, the last thing she did, she didn't even call 911. She called Josh. And all her last words were, "It hurts." Did he really even care? You know, you know, so he is not telling the girls, quit fighting over me. Okay, okay, I'll pick one. Or being real with them about what they are, or even if he was real, they're still fighting over him. They're thinking that they can win him over. They want to win over somebody who doesn't really care about them. Because obviously they found out about each other and they put that red flag aside. That's why we got to be careful that we don't get caught up where we use emotional thinking. We have to use logical thinking, and they're using the emotional thinking, and it's causing them to get out of control. They don't relax and think and take 10 deep breaths. So they do a little bit more research, and 8 months before, Rachel had called Sarah and had threatened to kill her. She's like, if you don't leave him alone, I'm going to kill you. I can't remember her exact words, but basically like back off. And she used the word murder and she used the word kill. So that was used. She got 2nd-degree murder and 27 years. And she's like a teenager. And that's the thing, like when we start getting involved in certain relationships, when there's triangulation, lies, deceit, pitting two people against each other, toxicity from different types of relationships, the taunting, the utilizing flying monkeys to help people do dirty deeds. Like the friend should have been able to say, like, no, I don't want to get involved. But narcissistic people have a way of getting people on board to do things that are outside, hopefully outside their character. They're also teenagers. We got to remember NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, doesn't get diagnosed until you're 18 or older, because teenagers do more irrational things. And that's why, like, even car insurance is different because they're more risk takers, they're more irrational, they're more emotional. But it led to a death in a 27-year 2nd-degree murder sentence. So, sometimes we think, we can make it with our narcissist. We can make it work. But we got to remember too, like getting caught up in certain scenarios that can lead to some toxic outcomes. So even if you're like, yeah, we can work it out, it might be rocky or I might be jealous of the other person. There's also that other aspect of that triangle that can turn toxic. So you're not only in a toxic relationship, you're in toxic possible outcomes or stresses or jealousy, or feeling unstable or uncertain of who you are. Am I lovable? Why aren't I the best? Why doesn't he want me or she? It can be the other way around. And society is really getting out of control. So narcissists like to use triangulation because they like being fought over. They get a kick out of it. And at what expense? 2 people fighting till the death almost. One did die. And the lies, it's hard to even say, do we feel kind of sorry in a sense? Was she protecting herself? Because that other girl did throw 3 punches at her. And was it self-defense? Or do you go back to, certain words? That's why always be careful of the words you say, because they could come back to haunt you, even if you don't truly mean it. There's how I could kill my husband. He didn't come home till 4. We have to be careful because that's planting a seed in our head. And most of us will be okay not do that, but that seed is in there. And when things start getting out of control, is that the water that seed needs to grow? and turn into that outcome. And then there's evidence out there in this world. So be very cautious on what you put out into the world, the words you say, the energy. It's really interesting. Every little thing. You know, I talk about the butterfly effect. You know, that one little voice message she left. You know, if you don't start leaving him alone, I'm going to kill you. She probably didn't like truly mean it at that time, but it festers. And like I said, it is like a little seed. So when we want revenge on our narcissist, try to let that go, because it's not going to bring peace to you. It's actually going to make it worse, to where, you know, you popped his tires. Now you're like, I'm kind of, you might get a kick out of it for a second, like, yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. But then you're like, you know, that goes to your character, and you're going to start to feel bad about yourself. Or that's where we turn narcissistic. We don't give a fuck. We need to, you know, so it's okay to still care about your narcissist. It's okay to still be mad at them, you know, but we're caring about somebody who wasn't real. We're caring about a relationship that wasn't real. If that helps you to still care about them, that's okay. I think it's okay. I don't know about other YouTubers, but it's okay to feel what we feel. And that's what I truly believe. It is okay to feel what we feel. You want to be angry? Be angry. That's part of this 5 stages of grief. We need to do that. It's okay to be angry. But be careful on getting involved in certain things or letting those seeds grow. It's best just to walk away. It's best just to walk away. Just like they told Rachel, you know, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you leave? And there is a law, I believe it's still current, but at that time and in that area, that you can stand your ground. Remember, I'm in America, so it might be different where you guys live. This is worldwide for YouTube. But you know, she chose to stand her ground. She had every right to do that, you know. Just like we have every right to stay in a narcissistic relationship. We can stand our ground. But look at where it led to. You know, just because it can be doesn't mean it's the best choice. So what's the best choice for our future? Standing our ground, or choosing a different tactic. Like if she did go to get the police, she wouldn't be in jail for 27 years. And I'm not saying what she did was right. I'm just saying there's different options that lead to different outcomes. That's that butterfly effect. She would have made one different choice. And then the butterfly affects everybody. It affects her parents, the parents of the deceased, the friends, even teachers, everybody in that person's life. And it could be just something as simple as, you know, the teacher now has to spend time reorganizing the attendance list or the seating chart, or just a little thing, but it takes them away from maybe walking down the hall and catching a kid before they slip and hit their head, or just it changes everything. Every little thing that we do. So we got to do the best to live our lives the best that we can, because there's going to be things bombarding us. And just like Rachel, she was being, and some of it is out of our control, you know, but Rachel, maybe she could have had somebody walk her home. Be proactive in how we protect ourselves and how we avoid certain situations. And I'm not justifying her. It's just an example of how this triangulation or narcissism or the choices that we make. So it's good to heal. We can see things clearer, because with this narcissistic abuse we've gone through, we actually get brain fog. That's part of that CPTSD. We're not as good at making decisions anymore. Some of us have been submissive to our narcissist without even realizing it sometimes. So it can happen to men, can happen to women, to where we start bowing down because we're overpowered by the narcissist. I watched another thing today where it's just kind of like a little skit on a teacher. And she walks into the room and they're giving her a hard time, like, oh, you're the teacher's aide. And she's like, no, I'm the teacher. And another one said some crude comment. And she's just like, I am not doing this. And she's like, do you know what the tell me what the definition of power is. And or she had started to say that, you know, she can, I can't remember her exact words, but like, I can go to the principal's office, I can fail you, I can get you kicked out of this class. That is power. And that was her comfort. She squashed them. And that's what the narcissist does, is they squash us and we feel helpless. So the narcissist exercises power as their defense mechanism. So her defense mechanism, she did have the power. She did have the right to do that. But she's like, I'm not dealing with this stuff. And the narcissist doesn't want to deal with our emotions. Like the teacher was dealing with the rudeness, but the narcissist doesn't want to deal with our emotions or our wants or our needs unless they match what the narcissist wants. And we get confused because in the beginning, they were doing things that led us to believe that they wanted to do the same things. Or you know, they interviewed us, found out that, let's say, I love the ballet, and so they're like, oh, you know, I want her to sleep with me for the first time, so I'll take her to the ballet. Like, stupid thing, but whatever, it's only $50. So we're like, oh, I found the perfect person, they love to do this is my favorite. And then they never want to do it again. And you're like, man, like, I thought, you know, that'd be great to travel and go to all these different things, because it's twists and turns of life. But I just wanted you guys to understand how toxic triangulation could be, the flying monkeys, the torture, all over people who don't care. And, you know, those are still human beings. And if people would just handle things different. So with the revenge, release those demons. That's going to eat you up inside, and it's going to preoccupy you, and it can lead to such a bad outcome: arrest, jail time, fines, restitution. It's better to just walk away, just like Rachel could have walked away. So big hugs. Just keep smiling and moving forward. And I'll see you in the next video. One-on-ones are available, and topic requests are always welcome.